hailing from Vestal, New York, so real roots here. Welcome back home. In the physics department here is Mario Palumbo, Dr. Mario Palumbo, who is our next speaker, and has had a very impressive career since leaving Binghamton University. Prior to joining Intel, he was Vice President of Engineering at Recon Instruments, which is a leader in smart eyewear products. I got a chance to look at a product that cyclists could wear that could give them all sorts of heads-up information, which he and I are both cyclists, so I was excited to hear about that. He was Chief Technology Officer at Lighthouse VCI. It was a real-time intelligent video processing company. And he was also Vice President of Engineering at Spectrum Signal Processing, which was specializing in high-density voice-over IP protocols. He's Director of Technology for Wearable Devices at Intel's New Devices Group. So please welcome Mario.
All right. Okay, I promise I'm going to make this talk about you guys. It won't be about me. It won't be about technology. I want to turn this around and get this about why would any of you be interested in AR? Why should you be in AR? Are you ever going to actually own these products, use these products? Are they going to affect your daily life? So that's going to be sort of the question we're going to try to answer. And I want to just take you through a line of reasoning that will help you understand what is happening today. And the two previous speakers did a good job in laying some of that groundwork. And then how this will evolve into something you could use in your daily life. The first thing I'm going to show here is a video clip. And it's kind of I would call it an aspirational video clip. It only lasts 15 seconds. It's just to give you a sense of what we mean by digital or virtual objects interacting in the real world in a very convincing and realistic way. And that's sort of the key to AR, is that we've got this real world and we're trying to place digital objects, but it has to be convincing. It has to be, you may remember the Roger Rabbit movie, right? They had the animated characters and the real characters. Well, this is like doing that all the time. It's like real life Roger Rabbit. So let's just watch this, and then we'll talk about what was going on. So what is it about this little video that makes it so, I got a whoa, that was great. I kind of wanted a whoa. Because it's kind of a striking video when you see it. And the reason it's so convincing, though, I'm actually going to show it one more time, is that the whale is interacting with the floor, right? The people's heads here are actually occluding some of the splash. It looks like it's real in the environment. And this stuff is actually, you see shadow on the hands and so on. It looks like these objects are actually real and there, right down to the last detail. And this is a difficult thing to do. And it's the reason why some of the products that you've seen are not actually that compact and that wearable. So what are the products that can do this today? So there actually are products that can do this today. That video was made by a company called Magic Leap. I have them in the corner. They actually haven't released a product yet. We're all waiting very anxiously to see what they come out with. But these companies have, right? And these are what the headsets look like. Now, I don't know if looking at this, you think, gosh, I really wish I had one of these. I mean, some of you maybe, but as the previous speaker spoke about, the most typical uses for these now are games, other forms of entertainment, and there are some enterprise office-based uses for 3D design, architecture, this kind of thing. But they're really not mainstream products. They're quite far from it. I mean, and you can't imagine how something like this really would be a mainstream product, something you'd use on a daily basis. I want to say just a little more about the Microsoft product, because I really think it's the best one in the world right now. And it's not the best because it has the best display. In fact, it doesn't. It's the best because it's the best at making things interact with the real world, right? If you look at the very top of the product here, there's an amazing array of sensors that allow it to detect the real world and map it, which allows it to put things in the real world. Like these are actually holograms, real-life holograms they're generating, that you can anchor. These screens are holographic here. But if she was to get up and walk around, this globe would stay on the table. She could look at it from different angles. It's like anchored. It's like a real thing. And that's because the device knows where the table is. It understands the table, the room. It understands all those dynamics, and it's able to put that there. And it also understands perspective. So if she was to go around it, she would see Asia instead of seeing the Atlantic Ocean or Africa there. So is this, are these kinds of products the things that should get you excited about AR? Are these the things that should get you thinking, I'm going to get involved with AR myself? And I would say they're not, right? What we are trying to do, and I think the main way to get these products into the mainstream, and by the way, I meant to say I have one of these products here, by the way. If anybody wants to check it out afterwards, I've got a Microsoft HoloLens with me, and we can turn it on even, and you can check it out if you like, just to get a sense of some of these experiences. But the key is, how do we start bringing some of these experiences, and I'm phrasing that carefully, start to bring some to regular glasses, everyday glasses, glasses you would wear every day, right? Like these, for example. Well, actually, I like the steampunk glasses, but no, I don't mean those. I mean glasses like these. And we have to use Johnny because he wears glasses like nobody else. And what I want to talk about is how we bring real-life, practical user experiences to glasses like these. Now, they might not be as immersive. There won't be whales jumping out of the street, but I'm not sure you really need that in your daily life. So what I'm going to do is run through a few examples. There's actually tons of examples, but I'll run through a few very practical examples of the kinds of stuff that we could bring to these kinds of glasses. And we could do, if not exactly right now, very soon, very soon. So first example is navigation. This was already brought up. Hiran brought it up. Navigation is probably the most commonly used thing on your smartphone that isn't communication-based, right? Like we text and we email and we call. But when you really go look at apps, Google Maps and navigation is probably the #1 thing. How do I get around when I'm driving, when I'm walking? And with these types of glasses, you could actually have a clear lens. You're just seeing the world, and when an instruction needs to come up, turn left, turn right, those displays could come up in your field of view and be overlaid on reality to help you do this kind of navigation in a very natural way. Another example would be translation. This is a niche example. It's very travel-based, but if you're in a foreign country, imagine you could just look at a sign and you could just read it. It'll change the text to a language you understand. It would be quite amazing. I like the theme music here. This is fantastic. Can we get a few hallelujahs, please? And another one, it would be point of interest in reviews, for example. Now, and there's lots more, actually. I was just reading an article about virtual art. So there's these people use your cell phone for it today, because it's really the only medium for this. But they create digital art in the world that will be sitting somewhere, like let's say the quad in this building. And if you walked out there and held your phone up so that the camera could see the quad, it would realize where it was and render like a statue or a sculpture or something in that space. There's loads of examples like this, and there'll be a lot more that people think up that I'll never think up once these products get out in the world. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, I can just do this on my phone, right? Like this example even shows it on the phone. Like all this stuff exists on the phone. And it does. If you're happy to take your phone out and point it at the world, right? Occupy your hands and occupy your attention in this way, you can do all of this stuff, right? You don't need to have glasses. But if you've ever used these kinds of products, which I have, you realize that when this becomes it almost seems like an innate power that you've just taken on by putting these on. You have a lens. You're the only person who sees it. Your hands are free. You're not doing this, You're just able to do this stuff, right? That's why I use the term superpowers at the beginning, because it's kind of like you've just developed this innate ability to do something. And the last thing I want to talk about here is digital assistants. If you've ever used Siri, Google Assistant, or the Amazon Alexa on their Echo product, these things are really coming to the fore now. People are loving this stuff. And a lot of people do simple things with them now. What's the weather in Bangladesh or something? But so you can prompt these things to do things for you. Call my mother for me or whatever. But the future of these is to become, as Hiren was mentioning, much more cognitive, much more aware of you, who you are, what you do in your life, what your habits are, and giving you contextually relevant information, suggestions, assistance. And so the glasses become, whoops, dang it, I've just stolen my own thunder. So the glasses become not only a medium for you to see things, right? But they also become an input device to help inform these things of what's going on in your world. So your glasses are always looking at what you're looking at, right? They're always hearing what you're hearing because these glasses will have sensors in them. So therefore, the digital assistants now, they know everything about you and where you are and what you're doing, and they have that context now to give you better input. You've already seen Iron Man, so Jarvis was Iron Man's Siri, if you've ever seen these movies. He basically had his own digital assistant, and closing a loop here on the superpowers, this is the kind of thing that this will evolve to, where these automatic digital assistants will be personalized to you and will give you what you need to know in the context that you're in. Okay, I just want to talk about two products. I know you guys have been in here for a long time. Two products and why we don't have these today. Why aren't we all wearing smart glasses today? Because I'm sure you're all very motivated now to have these powers, so why don't we have them? So this is a little bit of a plug. As James mentioned, I was the head of engineering for this company, Recon, before Intel acquired us about 2.5 years ago. And the main product we made while I was there was this smart glass. It was called Recon Jet. I've got one here. I've got the black version. And this was a cycling glass. So if anyone here is a serious cyclist, you know there's these things called cycling computers you can mount on your handlebars. And they basically track your ride. They'll tell you the speed you're going, the incline of the hill you're on, all this kind of dashboard stuff. And we offered it in a little display that was right there below your eye. And these are some of the screenshots. Your real-time dashboard, what's happening on your ride right now. And there were a lot more things we could put on there. Power, grade of hill, et cetera. Navigation and the ability to see incoming notifications if you wanted to stop and deal with them or keep going. But you were always in the know. And this product was released in 2015, just a couple of months before we were bought, coincidentally. And we also made, or I should say with Oakley, we made a ski goggle, and that actually predated it. This is back to maybe 2012. We made the electronics that went into Oakley's Airwave ski goggle, which I believe is still available for sale from Oakley. And similar things. While you're out skiing, you can get all of this information about your skis, your speed, your jumps, your inclines, how many vertical feet you've done. But this is not a lifestyle product. These products are for activity. Put it on, do your activity, take it off. What about a lifestyle product? I put it on, I keep it on. It's my glasses. It's my daily glasses. There's really been only one serious attempt at this, and that was by Google. I've got one of these as well, one of these beautiful white glasses. And this is not a bad-looking product. It's small, it's lightweight, it's a lensless glass. It's a little bit weird, but it is still an extremely conspicuous product. If one of you had walked into the room today wearing this, you could expect a lot of very strange looks, double takes, what's going on over there. It's a product that still, we're not accustomed to seeing this kind of thing on people's faces. These very conspicuous module, it's asymmetric and just not pleasing to the eye. But still, a lot of people decided they wanted to wear these. And in Silicon Valley especially, which is the nerve center of this kind of technology adoption, people started wearing them, quite a lot actually. They were really getting into it. And a very interesting thing happened. First thing that happened, they were banned. And you may remember from the very early days of the cell phone, when 1 to 2 people out of 10 had cell phones, they were banned in places too. People didn't want you talking on your phone in a coffee shop or in a restaurant. It annoyed everyone. Who does this guy think he is? He's got to be on his phone. What's not going to happen if he doesn't just put that away, And now, of course, we don't care. We all have them. 9 out of 10 people have phones. It doesn't matter to us that people talk on their phones in a coffee shop or something. It's just normal. Well, this this was banned because it was just new and it was different. And there was another issue, which is that little hole there is a camera. And there was this, I think, somewhat irrational paranoia that, you know, people are filming me all the time when I don't want to. There was this voyeuristic end of this. And then they came up with a new term for people who insist on wearing these. Anyway, I am not making this up. They look at that, I love it. You could even tell a nerd wrote this, this definition, right? So this is what we refer to in the business as social cost, right? What it costs you socially to wear and use these products. Most of us buy products for social credit, right? We want to go out, we buy our shoes, our clothes, we look in the mirror, we want to look good. We want people to think we look good in our clothes. We want some credit for it, you know? This was a debit. This was, you look foolish in this thing, and by the way, you're actually violating my privacy. You know, take it off. So this is a real barrier for this industry. Maybe the biggest barrier. It's actually bigger, I think, than the technological barriers now. We can do a lot of the stuff we need to do to create AR glasses. But we can't do it yet. As Hiran had mentioned, Mark Zuckerberg said we can't make the product we want to make, which is the product that Johnny was wearing, right? Which is the product that will do this without creating these antibodies to come out of society. Okay, so in summary, where do we go from here? Well, this has been mentioned. All of these screenshots here are from conferences held this year by 4 of the biggest tech companies on the planet, right? Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook. And they committed a significant amount of time in those discussions to AR. AR has become maybe along with artificial intelligence, one of the main investment areas in Silicon Valley now for the big primes, and even for startups and all manner of company, like Matt's company, for example. And I am convinced that this will come, that we will have products, probably you'll start to see them in the next maybe 2 to 3 years, coming from some of these companies that are symmetric glasses, they look normal, they have a lens. This lens will have a magical capability to display objects in your field of view. It may not be quite as immersive as the video clips I showed or some of the other stuff you've seen. It's going to have to start and go forward. But there's 2 ways to attack the market. One is, like HoloLens has done, create everything, create all the experiences, boil the ocean, and then see if you can make it smaller. And then the other way is to say, well, why don't we just take a simple set of features and a beautiful pair of glasses and see how we can move that up. And that thread is about to start, I believe, very strongly. And if I'm invited back here for my 40th anniversary, then you're probably all going to be wearing them. But anyway, thanks for your time.